knocking on the door of Roy Whiting and arrested him. We went to probably 10 other houses to speak to sex offenders. I'm not saying any one of those could have committed this offence, but there are a lot of sex offenders.
Today there are 30,000 people on the sex offenders register, but that figure doesn't take account of the thousands of others who may have committed offences and gone undetected.
How do you effectively monitor those numbers? Do you put 24/7 surveillance teams onto them? It sounds great, but the resource implications of just looking at one sex offender to that level of scrutiny are enormous.
Today, Sara Payne is returning to Lewes Crown Court, the first time she's been back there since Roy Whiting was convicted for her daughter's murder in December 2001. She's talking to court volunteers about how to deal with the victims of crime.
First time?
Yes, first time I've been back to Lewes.
First time that you've come back to Lewes Crown Court.
The events of the last few years have taken their toll on Sara Payne. She lost her daughter, and she and her husband Michael are now divorced.
The stuff that I do for Sarah's Law, many people have said to me, why don't you just walk away? It's obviously a price that's too high. The point is, if everyone does that, then nothing ever changes. You know, it's like, I'm doing this because I believe it's the right thing to do.
She's sharing a platform with Martin Underhill, Tosh, one of the senior detectives involved in the case, to talk about their own experiences and the lessons to be drawn from one of this country's most notorious murder investigations.
I meet many families on a daily basis, and I meet many families throughout the course of my work where, because they're not treated in the same way as we were, they are very fallen and very broken, and a lot of that's to do with the fact that they weren't listened to or they didn't get justice. Tosh and I had a very honest relationship. I had asked Tosh in very, very early days, please be honest. Don't lie to me. Honesty is most definitely the best policy, don't you think?
Most difficult time I had with Sara was the honesty over Roy Whiting. He was arrested on the Sunday, the day after Sarah went missing. It wasn't the fact Sarah had been arrested, it was the fact that this man had done it before. And we had to tell him. And there were a lot of tears and a lot of anger. And she actually said to me, I want to know exactly what he did. And that was awful.
That was a very difficult moment. It was horrible to hear, but I had to know the details. And had Martin lied to me at that point, that would have been the end of our relationship.
The girl was actually taken from Kingston Lane, wasn't she?
No comment.
In the years since Roy Whiting was convicted for the murder of Sarah Payne and sent to prison for life, there are still unanswered questions.
Sarah, I want to help find her.
To this day, Whiting has always refused to cooperate with the police.
Yeah, no comment.
The sad thing is, at the moment, we don't know how exactly Sarah died or why. I write to him every year on the anniversary of his conviction and ask him if he was prepared to speak to the police. So far, he has never responded to those letters, but we will continue writing those letters for the foreseeable future, because I think the family and the police force have a right to know what happened.
I'm used to having that pain in my life, so it's duller than it was, but it's always there. It's silly things that set it off. Such silly things. It's things like, just before Christmas I walked around to the shop and there was a young lad there who's, well, they're 16 now, 17, and he's so tall. And he was Sarah's kind of boyfriend, if you like, you know, their first little boyfriend in school. And it was just, I was so upset when I got back, I just couldn't help but cry, because I've been robbed of that.